to movies. The Superman franchise has been in the news a little bit here, off and on.
Right, we talked about it earlier.
This is horrible. The last movie was absolutely horrible. What can they do to save the franchise?
Nothing.
End it. They're not going to do that.
They're not going to do it.
Superman, the Superman symbol is almost as recognizable as the American flag. Like, it's that recognizable in places. It's probably more respected than the American flag in most places.
Yeah.
They're not going to stop at making Superman movies. They just can't figure out how to make a Superman movie that appeals to today's cynical audience that likes movies like Dark Knight, which, don't have happy endings. The hero doesn't get its praise. And with Superman, you got a character that fundamentally he has values and stuff like that. I think it'd be interesting to do a Superman movie where you got those kind of values in today's world. Trying to make things work and make things right in today's world.
There you go.
And the problem with Superman Returns, and one of the many problems with Superman Returns, is they didn't make Superman accountable for anything. Superman left for 5 years and came back, and nobody booed him when he came back. It was like, oh man, where the hell did you go? What the fuck? We might have needed you. They totally ignored that he missed Luthor's court date. Nobody seemed to care. And apparently he raped Lois Lane, folks. Apparently, the kiss at the end of Superman 2 that erased Lois Lane's memory, she still remembers him impregnating her. She doesn't remember that he's Clark Kent. So, I guess she assumed Superman raped her. I can only assume. There's just so many problems with Superman Returns. We can do a whole show just talking about all the problems Superman Returns has.
Me personally, I think something that would save this franchise is an interesting villain for him to actually face.
Absolutely.
Somebody that really takes him,
Absolutely.
Like you said, put him in today's world where he's not truly, kind of like the Spider-Man,
Yeah.
One was. One was really good because they celebrated him at first,
Yeah.
but then began to boo him and dislike him for what he was. Let's have him do that to Superman, where the people are booing him, not appreciating him, but there's an evil out there so bad that he can't just turn and walk away. He has to face it.
Right.
And a Brainiac would be perfect for that role.
Perfect. And, another thing about all science fiction movies up to this point, you can't watch any of these Superman movies with a brain. There's always at least one thing in there that makes you go, what? I mean, the first one, the one that everybody loves, everybody nuts over, because, Christopher Reeve was awesome as Superman. Awesome. He was great. But turning back time by turning the world on its axis is retarded on a level I can't even describe to you. If he could do that, he could bring Krypton back, he could kill Hitler, he could do a million different things if that was one of his powers. And then Superman 2, of course, he erases Lois's memory. If they could just make a Superman movie that makes sense. Now, a Superman movie isn't going to be completely realistic because duh. But if you could have it that make some kind of sense and have the characters be serious and have serious motivations, just make a smart Superman movie. That's all you have to do. Make a smart Superman movie.
One thing about the movies that came out in the 80s and the movies that come out today, back in the 80s, didn't have the internet where all of us could get together.
Yeah, exactly.
And point out every single thing that's wrong.
Right.
That gets on my nerves so bad. Either the movie was good or it wasn't good. Don't sit there and tear it apart. Well, it was awesome up until the point where he broke character and didn't, he didn't butter his muffin like he did in the comic. You sorry son of a,
And that's a good point. A lot of movies today don't get the kind of credit that they would normally get because of the internet and because of fans, like us, micromanaging every single part of it.
Exactly.
You don't have to be completely faithful to the comics. Batman Begins wasn't completely faithful to the comics. Ra's al Ghul never trained Bruce Wayne in the comics, but it doesn't mean that it's bad for the movie. Watchmen, yes, Watchmen is the worst of this. And Watchmen, I think, actually suffered from being...
It was too faithful.
It was too faithful, which would have been fine if the whole movie had been faithful, but, like I said, we get on the internet, and the first thing they just came about was the ending where the squid didn't show up, and then, no matter how good Watchmen could have been, if it wasn't completely faithful, fans weren't going to be happy.
And that's it with everything.
I mean, you can't go exactly the way a comic book It's not plausible.
Yeah, it's not possible.
It's pretty much impossible to do, especially with the Superman franchise. They're talking about a reboot. They've already rebooted. It's too late to go back and reboot the
But let's get a different director. Let's get a different guy to play Superman.
Fire everybody who had anything to do with that god awful movie.
You know, there's directors out there I would like to see get a shot at it. You know, Michael Bay, Josh Whedon.
Joss Whedon, absolutely. I don't know about Michael Bay. That's kind of pushing it. Just said about a smart Superman movie.
Josh Whedon could put out a very smart Superman movie. He could get a different character to play Superman.
Joss Whedon could
I think everybody knows the direction I'm heading here because I've got a hard on for everything Whedon ever did, and especially one of the actors.
Yeah. Think about that for a second. TNA. Everything Josh Whedon does turns to gold.
TNA. I think you should go to TNA.
TNT.
Right, TNT.
Josh Whedon, I think, could really take it, spin some of the characters around, make it more realistic, make it smart, make it funny, make it cool, make it hip.
Yeah.
Put David Boreanaz as Superman.
Yeah. He's almost too old now, though.
He's almost too old to be Superman. Well, Superman's going to be old in these movies anyway. He never
but he's going to be about 30. You know, he's not going to be. David Boreanaz is like 37.
It can't be any worse than this fake-looking.
He did look like, I'm saying, a lot of people praise, and Brandon Ruth wasn't terrible, he just looked like a wax figure.
I felt he was horrible.
You didn't think you didn't like him at all? You didn't think he was good at all?
I turned the movie off halfway through it. I didn't need to go see it in the theaters. I'd heard enough crap about it, and I turned the DVD off.
I saw it in the theaters, the 3D was
I heard the game was better than the movie.
What? The game was better than the movie? That's possible. That's probably true.
All right, so we're agreed that there's probably little to no hope.
Well, like I said earlier, they've got 4 years. You know, they're going to make it. They have no choice. They're going to make another Superman.
Time's closing in.
I say they look at Batman Begins, see what happens. Not necessarily make Superman dark.
I'm glad you brought up Batman.